Benjamin Brown Sr., otherwise known as Ben, is the founder of Ben Creative LLC. He is a God fearing servant who, along with his beautiful wife, gives of his time to serve others. He is a husband, a father of twins, an engineer, a coach, a Kappa man, and an all around exceptional example of a silent, diligent servant leader. Returning to his love of art, Ben started his company, Ben Creative, which is a mobile artistic business that celebrates the creativity in each of us. That business took off like wildfire, and he has now, in just about 2 years' time, completed more than 300 paint parties. He believes in servanthood, partnership, and worship. A critical member of the Leviticus Church of Richmond's prophetic team, Ben creates riveting pieces in the midst of electrified worship atmospheres as a testament of God's glory. Discipleship is not lost on him, and it was a pleasure to sit down with him after a long weekend of hosting paint parties throughout the Mid Atlantic region. We laughed, were serious, and delved into topics that serve couples, businesses, families, and community servants. Ben, may God continue to bless the works of your hands according to the condition of your heart. Good day, everyone, and welcome to another segment of Business Acumen with Cross Cultural Talks. I am your host, Robinette Cross, and today I have with me one of my brothers. He's a deacon, he's an engineer, but I don't want to say most importantly, right, because deacon's real important, but he is also the owner of Ben Creative. He is fantastic. I mean, guys, wait till you hear how his business has catapulted over the last 2 to 3 years. It's amazing. So thank you so much for coming on this show. I know you're tired. You gotta be tired. Yeah, he's done over 300 paintings in less than 2 years, right? Do you know, not just paintings, but paint parties. He's done over 300. Do you know how many that is? That's one every other night or something like that, right around for 24 months. Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. And he just finished one with 130 people. In 3 days' time, you had 60, 130, and 60. Yep. Somebody do that math. I can't do that math. 120 plus 30, 250 people. Okay, 250 people in 3 days, which is fantastic. So Ben, I wanted you to be on the show first of all because we really love the fact that you have such a heart for God. We love you and Monique so much. We love the twins so much. But I also really wanted you to come on because of how advanced and accelerated Ben Creative has gotten. And also the fact that you hold down a whole house, a whole marriage, a whole full-time job, and you have your own booming business. And so really to talk to us and to encourage people, to encourage men specifically on, how to do that, how to have that work-life balance if there is such a thing.
Work-life balance. Well, luckily my engineering job is real flexible. Mm-hmm. So I only work 4 10-hour days and I'm off on Fridays.
Oh, that's so nice.
And then luckily most of my business comes during the weekend. So yeah. Friday, Saturday, I'm booked until about the end of August.
That's so cool.
Yep. So luckily I got another artist to get some more business. And I might have one more coming soon. So it's pretty good. And as far as balance, I mean, I don't know. I just do the best that I can. I do what I can. I just had to turn down some stuff sometimes.
Really?
Just got to.
Yeah.
And, just try not to get too stressed, not to worry about the little things.
Yeah.
And keep your eye on the big things, the more important things, the goals that you have in the future.
Yeah, the goals that you have. I love that because, right, when you're setting out any kind of it should be anything. You should have a plan or a strategy in place for it. And so even when you were conceptualizing being creative, you didn't even really have an idea of how big it was going to be.
I had an idea.
You did.
Yeah.
I love that, dreaming big. I thought it was so. It was who told you to start it?
All right. So
Back it up.
Monique went to a paint party with her friends,
Mhm.
and I think it was wine and design or something like that.
Mhm.
And she had a whole lot of fun. She came home. She was excited about her painting, and basically from then she just started pushing me to do the class because I've done art since I was a kid. So, you know, she knew I could paint. She knew I can draw. But after college, I had got my job. I had got relaxed,
Yeah.
and I would just play video games and waste time. So she knew we needed a little bit of extra income, and you know I had tried other businesses, but they didn't work. So you know she just kept asking me to do the parties, and then I just finally gave in. I let her set up one, and I taught it at the church, and I just kept doing them since then, and it's been going great.
Going great.
Hmm.
I love that. I love that. I do. I remember when you did your first paint party at the church,
Yep.
and it was like there were. It was a full room, I think, of people.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It was about
And
20, 25.
yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, that's a full room of people for your first event.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
guess so. I was a little nervous.
Yes, because you normally are like a behind the scenes kind of guy,
Yeah.
soft spoken.
Quiet.
Mhm.
Don't like to talk in front of crowds.
Mhm. Yeah, that whole thing had to change, didn't it? You had to get a mic.
Yep. Now I'm doing parties of 130. I would have never thought.
Yeah, yeah. It's just the beginning too. Because okay, so before we go into all the fabulous stuff you're doing, because this guy is international. Like he gets on ships and he paints. Like I can't even take it. He goes to beaches and he paints. Like just everybody stay tuned. So tell us also about yourself, because I know you said that one of the things you liked to do when you were younger was painting, that you were quiet, a little bit more reserved or soft spoken. So tell us a little bit about where you're from, where you went to school, because you're not from Virginia. So how did you end up here?
Okay, so I'm originally from Violin, New Jersey. Born and raised. I went to Violin High School. All throughout school, I took art classes. In high school, I took art as a kind of like a, what you call it?
Elective?
There you go, elective, perfect word. So I took art as elective every year in college. That's where I pretty much started painting and getting my skills down. But then when I decided to go to college, I figured art wouldn't make me any money. So I've been doing art all my life. As a kid, you know, drawing in church, stuff like that. But once I got to college, I decided, I ain't gonna make no money doing art. Let me take up something that's gonna make me some money. Not something that I really loved, but
Yeah.
something I knew I would make some money at.
Yeah.
So I took up computer engineering. I got my degree. Then I got my master's in computer science. Once I got my master's, I was able to get my job with the government. So I had got my job, my good old government job.
Amen.
And I just got comfortable, kind of.
Yeah.
But I still had student loans, of course. So I was looking for ways to make money. And I tried real estate. I tried selling coffee. What else did I try? There was one other thing. I can never remember what it is. Yeah, until I started doing Being Creative, it was like I was just looking and searching for something. And it seemed like once I found it, it was like it gave me purpose.
Yeah.
And gave me something else to strive for.
Yeah.
But, yep, that's how I got to Virginia State University.
The Virginia State University.
Yep, haven't left.
Yeah, and isn't Monique from New Jersey too?
Yep, same place, city, and everything. High school sweethearts.
Did you plan this? Did you plan coming to Virginia together?
Yeah, we did.
Oh my God, that is so cute. That is so cute. Oh my gosh. Okay. Because when David and I started dating, we had already gotten I think our college acceptance letters.
Mm-hmm.
So I went out of state and he stayed in state. Yeah.
Well, what happened was Monique, she took the tour of Virginia State, but luckily she had a bad tour guide, so she ended up. I ain't gonna tell you what happened on her tour. I had a good tour guide. He told me about the cookouts and the fish fries and the parties and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Her tour guide, she had like an old lady, and she just took her to the dorm rooms and back then the dorms weren't great.
No.
You know, we just built up some new dorms now. She saw those that have been different.
Mm-hmm.
But she saw the worst of the worst. And her mom said, "You're not going here." So she ended up at Hampton.
Still, Hampton's good.
Uh-huh.
Hampton's a good stuff. So I love that y'all were able to come down here together. And then another driving force behind you wanting to multiply your income, right,
Mm-hmm.
was the twins.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yep, 2 kids. After having 2 kids, it kind of puts things in perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, got tongue twisted with that one. But you know, eventually they got to go to college. So it's like I got to get my debt out the way before I start paying for somebody else's student loans or college.
We bind up student loans. We rebuke student loans. Those kids are going to school. All our kids going to school debt free. Yes. Yeah. Yes, we have good old smart babies.
Uh-huh.
Yes, amen. We have anointed babies, so we have no debt. No debt. Just cars. Amen. Oh gosh. All right, so then you had this idea to start being creative. You started it at the church, but you also have a partnership now, right? You got you have a partner in this thing who's also been on our program, but tell us a little bit about your business partner.
All right, so I started doing the paint parties at the church.
Mm-hmm.
And at the church, one of Monique's best friends, Lestar Vieira, her maiden name was Carpenter at the time.
Mm-hmm.
She got married to Carlos Vieira, aka the Line Dance Prince.
Mm-hmm.
So them being friends, you know, I met her husband, and I didn't really remember him, but he said he used to come to Let's Talk About It at the church. So I never paid attention, but yeah, we met, and he seemed like a cool guy, and he brought up the idea of doing an event together, and by then I was doing, I think, one restaurant at the time, and I was looking for more venues to do the paint parties. So he knew he had a friend who was part owner of a restaurant called 6335.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something about when you meet the right people and you get with the right people. We started doing the events, and the business just started to boom. Like we started to have parties of 50 and 60, and we were doing them once a month, but every time we were getting great crowds. And from there, private events started to come even more because more people were seeing it, more people wanted to do it. And, I started off doing one party a month. Now I'm up to 20 a month.
That's so amazing.
But, yeah, I got with him, and then also Tyrell.
Tyrell Morton.
And his marketing videos and photographs of capturing all the moments. I think that was also crucial to the increase in business. But yeah, it's real good.
I love that, right? Because who really in Virginia, now let's just be serious, would think to put line dance and paint parties together?
Only Carlos.
Yes. Only, only Carlos. It's like, oh, let's do this, and we've been to a few of them, and so it's really easy to do because you can, and it's food because it's in a restaurant, so it's a really nice ambiance, so you can listen to music, and then you can paint, and then while your paint's drying, you can go line dance, and then you can come back and you can paint finish, and you get some more food. It's fantastic. So I love that you do that, and there are other things that you do with Carlos too, right? So that translated into so many other things.
Carlos, he has his own basketball league where kids play free. And me growing up, I love basketball. If it was my decision, I would have been in the NBA.
Okay.
But, you know, I don't think God wanted me to do that. He didn't let me get 6'6" like I wanted to be. I played high school basketball, was captain of the team, all of that good stuff. But I didn't play in college, unfortunately. Didn't make the team.
Oh.
But yes, my love for basketball is still there. I still play at work 3 times a week. And you know, he had the league, and I seen the league a year prior, and it just, you know, got my curiosity, and you know, he needed coaches. So once we started doing the paint parties, line dance paint party together, it was like, sure, why not? You know, it's a free league. You know, ain't nobody trying to rip anybody off.
Yeah.
And it's also a developmental league, so it's helping the kids that aren't as talented. So, you know, it's something I love to do. Coaching kids, helping them get better. This is my 3rd year. I just did my 3rd year as an assistant coach, and we won 2 championships out of 3 years so far. So I really enjoy it. And this year I was able to get my kids rings instead of ordinary trophies. So we had a little pizza party, and I gave them their rings. And yeah, gotta win another ring now.
That's so good. That's so good.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah. It really does just speak to your heart for people. Like you and Monique, Carlos, I think that's also the pattern of pretty much everybody who goes to the church. You just have such a loving heart for people, and you want to reach out to them and encourage them so much. And to think that, right, that's what you do when you win a championship. Like you're in the NBA, right? You win a ring, right? Okay, I know NFL, they get rings too. Okay, so I know the Heisman Trophy. That's an NFL thing, but
no, college.
Let's just act like I didn't even say that. I'm gonna edit that right on out. My husband said I can't edit it out. What's the man that does this on the thing? That's just college? Everybody calm down. I can do it. Nevertheless, when you win something, you should get a ring. I'm coming back to my point. When you win something, you should get a ring. So I love that you got those rings. Yeah, because Henrico Hoops is a place where kids are able to play for free. And so you actually help to finance the uniforms too. Like you so humble, you don't even talk about all the stuff you do. You know how I know? Because Carlos said it on the other segment. That's how I know. You know, to make sure that so they can go for free, they can play for free. Nobody's trying to charge them a fee, and they get outfitted, and they get rewarded, and they get encouraged, and to see men as examples for them. You know, that really means something. It means a whole lot for you to show up constantly despite your schedule and keep on doing it. So I'm glad that you do it, Ben.
Some of these kids need it too because it keeps them out of trouble.
Yeah.
Some of them have some attitude problem. Maybe their father ain't at home or something. But, you know, they look up to us, and some of them even admit it. So, yeah, it's a good lead.
Thank you for your labor of love. I tell you that. It is, because one thing that I really like that you said at the beginning of the show is that you just do it. You can't really try to quantify all that you do, because if you sit and you think about it, then it's like you get a heart palpitation. It's like, oh, sweet baby Jesus, oh, sweet baby Jesus, right? But when you really kind of prioritize and you say, I have this important thing to get done, I have this important thing to get done, and all these things collectively, they matter for the impact that you're trying to make, then you just do.
Yeah.
You just do. So I'm really grateful for that, because we see a lot of times in minority communities that people don't show up for our youth. So, you know, to be one of the ones who deliberately do it, and you come from all the way out, you gotta drive like 45 minutes to get to them kids, don't you?
Well, I go to church first.
Praise the Lord.
It doesn't. I don't see how much time it takes.
That's 15 minutes left.
So church is closer to the gym.
Yeah.
So it's like on my way.
It's on your way.
So it's not out the way.
Thank goodness.
In my opinion.
Come on, making it reasonable. Not out the way. Speaking of church, so I mentioned at the beginning of this segment that Ben is one of the deacons at the church. Both he and his beautiful wife Monique are deacons at the church, and they are always there, and they are forever servants at the church Richmond, where Pastor Cheryl is our senior pastor. Shout out to the church. We love you so much, Pastor Cheryl. And so Deacon Ben, you got to put your deacon hat on now. Deacon Ben is one of the strong arms for our prophetic arts ministry. And so really things just fall into place. If you've never heard of prophetic arts, you want to tell them what it is?
Basically it's just kind of worshiping instead of singing. You're painting. And that's all. That's a form of worship.
Yeah, it is.
But yeah.
Yeah, it's a form. I love that. It's a form of worship. So collectively, while the intercessors are praying, and then it transitions into what we call our rush squad. So that's our praise team, praising and leading worship. All of these things are happening collectively. Minister Brandon Anderson of God's Image, coupled with either Deacon Lamont, who's on drums, or Brother Jordan, who's on drums, and the sound system kind of having the right temperament. All of those things come together as a form of collaborative worship to God. And so then Ben, and then you have the praise dancers dancing. We have a flag ministry with the flags. Like all of these things. I know it sounds like it's a lot, because it is a lot, right?
It is.
It is a lot. And if you're new at it, you come in and you're like, what is happening
everywhere.
here?
You don't know where to focus.
Ben, at the same time, so while all of these things are happening, Ben is really one of the strongest arms of the painting for prophetic, because he's always, if he's at church, he's always the one painting. He's usually at church most of the time. So he's the one who is hearing all of this, and Holy Spirit is pouring into him and guiding the brush strokes on the canvas for him. And then he comes out with this, when he finishes, it's this amazing amalgamation of worship on canvas. Yes?
Yes, something like that.
All like that? What you talking about? Listen, that was good.
So how I do it, I get an image. I pray for God to just give me something to paint. Mm-hmm. And he'll give me an image, and I'll just paint it. And it always is pretty good.
Always. Like, always. Okay, so our pastor made sure that she mentioned this one time before. There's never a time when he's off. Our prophetic ministry will be celebrating 2 years this year, and there's never been a time when he's been off. He's never missed the mark. Never missed the mark. And that's before the preached word comes out.
I'm just painting.
Now, it goes back to what he said at first. It's a form of worship. And the first thing that you say you do is you do what?
Pray.
You see? So in doing all of those things, then that comes together to make him one of the strongest arms of our prophetic ministry. So, and it means something, because if you don't do it, God bless Elder LaStar, she'll do it. God bless Paula. Paula get up there. I know the first time Paula was probably like, what you talking about, Willis? But she gets up there and she does it now. So it's you, Elder LaStar, Paula. Am I missing somebody? Monique does it sometimes, right?
Not as much.
Right. So really, but everybody knows, if Deacon Ben is there, to the front he goes to the canvas. So really he has no days off. No days off. From the thing that drove you
from the time you were a child to the thing that you tried to put on the shelf for the purposes of making more money, you know, because you thought you were making the logical decision. That's something that you do every single day now.
Non-stop.
Yeah, I love that that's your form of worship. Because you're not one necessarily who'll jump around. Like, you get it, like, sometimes you get it.
Sometimes.
Yeah, and now and again.
But not all the time.
Not all the time. So you can get it all out. And what's good about it is that, like, no matter what Ben might be feeling, you can't really see it because his back is turned to the congregation. So even if he in the spirit that
you noticed that, huh?
Yeah. I observe. So yeah, I just, you know, I had to tell you that. And so as a man who, you openly profess your love for God, like there is no hiding place, you know, for that. How are you able to, you know, walk so boldly in God when so many different things around you may be saying not to do it?
I feel like I have blinders now or something. Because, you know, Carlos and Tyrell, they'd be like, that lady was flirting with you. And I was like, she was? I ain't see it. I ain't see it at all. But if you say so, I just know what I need to do.
Yeah.
I know my goals.
Yeah.
What I gotta get done, and I can't let none of that interfere.
Yeah.
I can't let it, you know, deter me from what I got to accomplish. So
yeah.
That just keeps me focused, and you know, when other stuff try to get in the way, I guess I don't see it, or I keep focused on what I gotta get done.
That's good.
Because eventually, being creative is gonna be in other cities.
Woo!
And yeah, those days are gonna be real good, and then maybe I won't have to paint every day.
You are so anchored now in your commitment to God and purpose that you don't even see it. You know, really, God has hidden you completely from the snares of the enemy, and I really love that. And He's honestly doing it through the thing for which you're purposed to do. Yeah. So even though, let's say, Carlos or Tyrell may say, "You didn't see that," no. I didn't, because let Monique tell you, you better not have seen that. You know what I mean? So I'm glad you do that on y'all know. But, you know, that you say no. And then you end up, you know, you have other things that you do with Carlos. Like you all do the Groove Cruise.
Yep, Line Dance Groove Cruise.
Line Dance Groove Cruise. I'm trying to talk about a tongue twister, the Line Dance Groove Cruise. And y'all do that in the summer months. And you sail to all kinds of different places. You're going to where this year?
Jamaica.
Okay.
This year, Jamaica. It's funny, let me free reference. When Pastor Marlon, before Pastor Cheryl took over, Pastor Marlon, he prophesied that my artwork would be around the world.
He did. And
when he said it, you know, I was listening, I'm like, okay, I guess. I mean, and at the time, I don't think I was doing being creative. So it was like, you know, for it to actually happen and come true, it still kind of amazes me to think about it. I was able to paint on the island.
Yeah.
I'm painting on cruise ships, and I'll be painting on the island again this year. Man, like I would have never imagined, like free vacation every August. I know, and now my wife's a travel agent.
Yes.
Because Carlos's mom is a travel agent, so she's under Carlos' mom now, and they just started their cruise, and it's sold out. So
sold out 2 weeks.
It seems like their business is moving way faster than mine was. I don't think they were prepared totally.
Yeah.
Like she gets 60 calls a day, and she's been super tired, but she knows that at the end of it, you know, it's going to only benefit us. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Doors is opening.
Thank you, Lord.
Yeah, that's all I can say right there. Thank you, Lord.
Thank you, Lord. Yeah. And you're prepared for it, though, right? Because, right, the word of the Lord says, be ye always ready. And so with the things that are coming, with that feast that has been prepared for you in the presence of your enemies, going back to Psalm 23, you're prepared for how to deal with these things. So, right, you have if you have 130 people times whatever amount you're charging, then that's a good profit. That's a good day for you. If you have a sold out cruise with 400 people on it, that's a good cruise. And so, making sure that you are financially responsible when those doors open, that you are ready and that you have the knowledge base to know what to do with those blessings and how to channel them into things like investments or savings or something like that. So
Definitely.
how have you been able to work around that?
Right now we've been following Dave Ramsey. You heard of him?
Yeah.
So we've been doing that, and we've paid off all but one of our credit cards. And next we'll be doing student loans, and in about 5 years, I think, is when we'll be done student loans. And
It's amazing.
I cannot wait.
Yes, oh yes.
I cannot wait. And then with all of the income that's about to come from her doing cruises and me, being creative, growing, it might be less than 5 years. So
Thank you, Lord.
yeah,
Thank you,
I
Lord.
don't know what else to say after that.
Yeah.
It's just, the way God's been blessing me, and my family, it's just amazing. And through, those blessings, I'm able to bless others, like Enrico Hoops, there's so many times Carlos and Tyrell come to do an event with me, and they'll get other people that want to hire them for their
Yeah.
services.
Yeah.
It's just amazing. The blessings just.
Yes, I love it, and I love that you don't leave anybody out. You don't leave anybody
No.
behind. Your heart is always full of consideration for other people, which it really is amazing, because people can have rapid acceleration and then they can get so big headed that they just shut off everybody else.
Mhm.
So I'm very glad that you are always humble enough to serve, but you're always confident enough to still do and go and represent your business and your brand.
Mhm.
So what's coming down the pipe for you in the future?
So we got the Line Dance Groove Cruise coming up in August. What else? Of course, I do my monthly events I'm at 4 different restaurants in Richmond now.
That's amazing.
I'll be painting on my wife's cruise, a cousin's cruise. Didn't expect that either. I got another artist hopefully on the way that'll be taking over some of my events. So that'll be two artists plus me, so 3 artists total. Yeah, hopefully debt free in 5 years, maybe less.
That's awesome.
Yep, just looking forward to it.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. So, in the grand scheme of things, when you think about the trajectory of your life, what would you like for people to say about you as they remember you?
I never even thought about that. I don't know. Hard worker, down to earth, and a good guy. And a man of God, of course. So yeah, I know it's not me. I ain't do nothing special. I'm just out there painting, and God is just opening the door. So wherever He takes me, I'm gonna go. That's all I can say. I'm lost for words now.
That's good. That's good. So keep building.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have oil from heaven that's just drenching you and your family. You have so many people who love you, who champion you, who support you. Keep doing. You will never grow tired. You will never grow weary. Don't grow weary in your, not to say that you don't need a nap, but you will never grow weary. Don't grow weary in your well-doing. I'm glad that you've been able to multiply, to duplicate yourself so that you can have a greater impact. Being creative is an exceptional way for you to do purpose. What you're really doing, though, is so much more than painting. It's so much more. You you are able to unearth joy that people thought they didn't have.
That's true.
And you're able to bring God to situations where people thought that was godless. So you have that responsibility, you have that charge, and you have the strength to be able to carry it out. So keep working, and may God continue to bless the works of your hands, sir.
Definitely.
Yeah, literally, the works of your hands. All right. So if people wanted to contact you, how would they do it?
Ben Creative Artwork on Facebook. Ben_creative on Instagram. Ben Creative Artwork at gmail.com. And my phone number, of course, 804-539-8780.
All right.
Text, call, email, social media.
That's true, and he responded. Don't inbox him at crazy hours. I think only I do that, but still, he will respond. I mean, in real time. It really is like I can't even. Did you even give yourself time to think about it? So he's so quick with his responses. He's so generous in giving. So if you would like to have, and it's not just FYI. It's paint parties is the biggest thing. But let's not forget before we end this, you do logos, you do other types of wall art. Like this is an artist. So if you need those services, one, I would suggest you go to the website and look at the gallery. So that you can see all the things that he's done, and you can also see some of the testimonials as well. But look at his capability, the depth and breadth of his talent is something that should not be lost on this conversation, and it should not be lost on your eyes. So make sure you reach out, go to the website, contact him, and book it now. Because as you hear him say, he's booked all the way up to and through August. So if you have something that's going on, you need to get it done now. All right, I just want to make sure we make that clear. So thank you again for tuning into this segment of Business Acumen with Cross Cultural Talks. I am your host, Robinette Cross. I will see you same time, same place, 8 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Saturday morning. Don't forget to go and be great on purpose. God bless you. Thank you so much, Ben.